Welcome to the Untrapped podcast, where we are motivated and inspired about success, small business, and personal development. And now, Keith Kalfas.
I remember driving my piece of crap truck, holding the steering wheel, literally in anxiety, shaking, terrified that if it broke down, that I would be totally screwed and wouldn't be able to pay my bills. And that's what I want to talk about. I'm in my hotel room. I just got out of the GIE Expo. There's thousands of people there. It's crazy, man, if you've never been there. And I'm back at the hotel room. We're going tomorrow, day 2.
Jill's office provides friendly, professional receptionists for small business owners just like you. We can help answer your calls, and we can even schedule estimates and jobs for you. Try Jill's office today and get a $25 discount when you say Untrapped. Just go to jillsoffice.com.
But anyways, so looking back, I remember working like, 70, 80, sometimes 90 hours a week to get the business off the ground. And it's so hard because when you don't have a bank account with 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 in it, I mean, literally every single penny counts. And if that truck breaks down, you getting it fixed could be the difference. It's just between sometimes you making it or not. And that's that struggle that you go through that you feel like nobody else can relate to what you're going through when you're getting a business off the ground. Nobody understands all of your new expenses, and all this is new information to you, and it's really, really, really tough. And the hardest part is when you feel like you're alone in this battle, and you're not alone at all, right? You come to a place like the GIE Expo or get around these live events, and you meet people that have made it through all that stuff. They went through a lot of the same exact struggles, and they made it out. And now, they got a few trucks, brand new trucks, and money in the bank, and their business is established. And you could take that first final breath, like in the winter, where you can finally, you just take a whole month off and not worry about Christmas presents under the tree and stuff. That is a very satisfying feeling. And what it does is it makes you look back in the future, when your business passes the 6-figure mark and you're doing just fine, you're going to look back at those humble beginnings and you're going to cherish them, because that's when the true fighter, warrior spirit had to come out of you in order to make this thing work. So I just want to encourage you that if you're in your first year, especially of your landscaping business, that I can't think of much that you're going through that isn't something that every single brand new entrepreneur goes through. This is normal, and it's not easy, but if it was easy, then everybody would do it. That's why it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. And the mental battles and the struggles that you go through in your mind and your emotions, it's way beyond my flat bill hat. It's way beyond just the physical work. It's the mindset stuff. It's all about how you look at it. So, for instance, when my F-150 broke down, my old F-150, multiple times, it was constantly in the shop. It was so stressful. But I got so angry that I quit complaining and crying about my problems. I quit telling myself victim stories about how hard it was, and I started telling myself stories of how I'm going to lean into this harder. I'm going to work harder. I don't care about the sun beating on me. I don't care about getting up early. I don't care. It's like I started waking up earlier and staying up later, working harder, closing more jobs, and just purifying myself through trial and error, through pure fire, right? You just let it incinerate you and go all in. This is when your personal life gets harder. You get in more fights with your woman, when nobody understands you. You're coming to family events late, covered in grass and dirt, sunburn, and it's like you feel like the whole world's against you. And I think that there's got to be a period, like a 2 to 3 year period, depending on how long you want to make it last, where you're all in and everybody hates you and you're just an asshole and nobody understands you, and that's when you're growing your business. And you know what? The people who really, really love you on the outside, they'll still be there. But you have to go all in, and you have to just quit whining, bitching, and complaining about how hard it is, and go pay your fucking dues, man. And once you pay your dues and you get all that off your plate, then you can come to something like the GIE Expo the next year, and you find you don't realize how much you're growing because you're in it, But you'll meet a guy who is just like you. Maybe he's a year behind you, and you can see it in his eyes, and now you're like, whoa. Now you're giving him advice, and he's latching on to every word you're saying because he's scared and he's trying to get his business to the next step. And you're like, bro, no, it's totally normal. I went through that, and like, you're gonna make it out of this. You're gonna be just fine. Just keep going. Because what happens is you make mountains out of molehills. Something happens and you feel like that thing is a molehill. A mountain you feel like is so hard. But after you've been through that shit 20, 30, 40, 50 times, you start to expect it, and then you start to anticipate it in advance. And then it gets to the point where it's just no big deal. But all of this stuff stems back. The rate of your growth always stems back to your worth, knowing your worth. When you feel worthy of success, and you feel in your heart that you deserve success, and no other man is above you, right? God created all men equal, everybody in his own likeness and image. You heard that right. When you feel that you deserve success too, and you really believe it, something happens. That was the major shift for me that allowed me to grow a lean, mean, little, highly profitable, small landscape business. It was when I started realizing my worth. It didn't just come easy. At first, I was upset. I became angry and vindictive, and I started to have a chip on my shoulder, right?
When you've got a job to do and you need parts and supplies the same day, Xmark's got you covered. No more waiting online, hoping and crossing your fingers for that delivery to show up. Our parts are available at your local dealer. From oil to belts to blades, we've got it all to help get you back on track. That's just one reason why Xmark is trusted 2-1 over the competition. Xmark, get on with your summer.
And that's not the best way to go about it, but I talk about this. I talk about this in my book, Your First Year in the Landscaping Business. You can get it on Audible if you listen to it. If you're in your first year in the business, you'd really listen to that book because it takes you through trials and tribulations. And there's parts in the book, the audio version, where I was like crying and like, while I was talking about it, because to relive those moments, there's this, it's like that first 2 years, not the first year, the first year in the business, the amount of growing pains and transitions you have to go through as a person or as a man or woman, it just rips you apart from the inside out. It's really, really, really hard. And you're just pushed all the way to the limit, and then you find out what you're actually capable of. And what's amazing is it just affects your self-esteem, it affects your confidence. It's like the only way out is through. And once you get through that first really, really tough year, I think that, and you get some stars and stripes, and you finally, you get good accounts, and you start to grow this thing a little bit, your confidence grows. And as soon as that confidence starts kicking in, that's when everything starts changing. I come to the GIE Expo, and I look in these people's eyes, and I see the confidence in their eyes grow year by year by year. They become seasoned and independent. And so if you're having struggles, don't sweat it. Try not to lose too much sleep over it. Hang in there. You got this. You're not alone. You're doing great. You've got guts. You're a mighty man of valor. And we got women in the landscape business too. So you're a mighty man or a woman of valor. And I just want to say that you can do this. Trust in yourself and trust in the process.